For more than 35 years, she had no name. She was known only by where she was found, a rain-soaked cornfield near a quiet farming village in upstate New York. Locals would come to call her Caledonia Jane Doe, a placeholder that marked both location and loss. She was a teenager, killed violently, left far from home, and stripped of her identity. On the morning of November 10, 1979, a farmer checking his fields along U.S. Route 20, just outside the village of Caledonia, noticed what appeared to be a body lying among the cornstalks. At first, he thought it might be a hunter wearing a red jacket. But as he approached, it became clear that the figure was a young girl, face down in the mud, unmoving. Law enforcement arrived quickly. The rain from the night before had soaked the field, complicating the scene almost immediately. What investigators discovered was deeply disturbing. The girl had been shot twice. Once through the right eye at close range, and once in the upper back. Evidence suggested she had first been shot near the roadside, dragged approximately 20 feet into the cornfield, and then shot again. Her pockets were turned inside out. She carried no identification, no wallet, no purse. Beneath her body, investigators recovered a single .38 caliber bullet slug, the only physical trace of the weapon used to kill her. Tire tracks, footprints, and other trace evidence had likely been erased by the overnight rain. The medical examiner estimated the girl was between 13 and 19 years old, approximately 5 feet 3 inches tall, and weighed around 120 pounds. She was fully clothed and showed no signs of a prolonged struggle. The first shot appeared to have been delivered without warning. The second, fired into her back, suggested deliberation rather than panic. Despite the brutality of the crime, the girl's appearance told another story. She had pronounced tan lines, the kind left by a halter top or bikini, something impossible in late autumn New York. Tanning beds were virtually non-existent in the 1970s. The tan suggested she had recently spent time in a warm, sunny climate. She wore tan corduroy pants, a plaid button-up shirt, blue knee-high socks, and brown ripple-soled shoes. Over it all was a red windbreaker jacket, men's style, with black racing stripes down the arms. It was a promotional item, produced in limited numbers, and impossible to trace. 2 small keychains were clipped to her belt loops. One was heart-shaped and engraved with the words, "He who holds the key can open my heart." The other was the matching key. They were the kind sold in vending machines along the New York State Thruway, small souvenirs picked up while traveling. Around her neck was a silver necklace with 3 turquoise stones, handmade in appearance and consistent with Southwestern or Native American style jewelry, uncommon in rural New York. Investigators immediately suspected she was not local. An autopsy revealed she had eaten a meal shortly before her death: ham, potatoes, and sweet corn, a classic diner dinner. That detail would soon matter. A waitress at a nearby diner in Lima, New York, came forward. She believed she had served the girl late on the night of November 9, 1979, around 11:30 p.m. The girl had been with an older man who paid for the meal. Nothing seemed unusual at the time. The waitress described the man as white, about 5 feet 8 inches to 5 feet 9 inches, with curly hair, black wire-rimmed glasses, and driving a tan station wagon. He became the last known person to see the girl alive, and the primary person of interest. Despite nationwide alerts, fingerprint checks, and missing persons searches, no one came forward to claim her. She had never been reported missing. And so she was buried without a name. The responsibility of remembering her fell largely to one man. John York, a Livingston County deputy who responded to the scene that morning. The image of the unidentified girl never left him. Years later, when York became sheriff, he made a quiet promise: her case would never be closed. For decades, investigators chased leads across the United States and beyond. Flyers were mailed to thousands of police departments. Truck stops, rest areas, and highways were canvassed. Over 10,000 tips were reviewed. Not one produced her name. In 1980, she was laid to rest in Greenmount Cemetery under a headstone reading, "Lest we forget." Unidentified girl. But law enforcement did not forget. As forensic science advanced, so did the investigation. In 2005, her remains were exhumed for modern testing. DNA was successfully extracted from bone and tooth samples. For the first time, her genetic profile existed. Her clothing was sent for pollen analysis. The results were startling. Traces of Australian pine pollen were found, a species that grows only in Florida, Southern California, South Texas, and parts of Arizona. Additional pollen from spruce and birch species common to California mountain regions was also present. Isotope analysis of her teeth confirmed it. She had likely spent her early life in the southern or southwestern United States. In 2010, a new forensic facial reconstruction was completed and uploaded to NAMUS, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons Database. Her case entered the digital age. Still, no match. What investigators didn't know was that the missing report they needed had never existed. In Florida, decades away from the cornfield, a woman named Laurel Noel began wondering about a friend she had lost touch with in high school, a girl named Tammy Jo Alexander. Tammy had disappeared in 1979. No one seemed to know where she went. Laurel contacted Tammy's half-sister, Pamela Dyson. Together, they discovered something alarming. Tammy had never been officially entered into a missing persons database. Any early report had been lost or never filed. In August 2014, a new missing persons report was finally created. When Tammy's profile appeared in NAMUS, it was seen by Carl Koppelman, the forensic artist who had reconstructed Caledonia Jane Doe years earlier. The resemblance was immediate and unmistakable. DNA testing confirmed it in January 2015. After 35 years, Caledonia Jane Doe had her name back. She was Tammy Jo Alexander, born November 2, 1963, from Brooksville, Florida. She was 16 years old when she died. Tammy had grown up in a turbulent home. She ran away often. She hitchhiked. She worked at a truck stop. She traveled widely as a teenager, searching for something better. In November 1979, she made it to New York. She never left. Today, Tammy's identity is known, but her killer is not. Male DNA recovered from her clothing is being analyzed using genetic genealogy, the same method used to solve other decades-old cold cases. The investigation remains active. Her grave now bears her name. And after decades of silence, Tammy Jo Alexander is no longer anonymous. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like for more amazing stories on our channel. See you soon.